Konnichiwa, minasan. O genki desu ka? Welcome to my channel. Let's learn Japanese with Eric. If you would like to learn Japanese for work, travel, or simply personal interest, please subscribe to my channel and watch the videos in chronological order. All lessons are written in both English and Japanese, so if you read Japanese, you can follow along reading the hiragana alphabet. If you haven't learned the hiragana yet, you can learn them all in one afternoon by going through lessons 1, 2, and 3. Otherwise, you're perfectly fine following along using the English transliteration. So let's begin. Hajimemashou. This lesson is all about adverbs or fukushi. Adverbs are words that describe adjectives or verbs. In the English language, adverbs are words that typically end in ly, such as quickly, easily, or slowly, or they answer how frequently one does things, such as very or seldom. They answer the question how. How do you do a certain action? In this lesson, you will learn how to form adverbs from adjectives, learn about words that are pure adverbs, and adverbs based on onomatopoeia or sounds. In the past two lessons, you learned there are two types of adjectives in the Japanese language. The first are the e-adjectives. To convert them into adverbs, simply change the ending hiragana I to ku. For the second kind of adjectives, the na-adjectives, simply change the ending hiragana na to ni. Let's look at some examples. Let's start with the e-adjectives. For example, the adjective takai, which means expensive or high in height. To convert takai to an adverb, simply change the I to ku, and you get takaku, which means expensively or highly. Another example, hayai, which means quick, converts to hayaku, which means quickly. Using a different kanji, hayai also means early, and its adverb is also hayaku, which means early, but this time describing a verb, such as to wake up early or eat early. Let's look at some examples of how these adverbs are used within a sentence. Feel free to repeat after me after I say things in Japanese to give yourself some practice. For example, the sentence, I wake up early every day. In Japanese, that would be, Watashi wa mainichi hayaku okimasu. Watashi wa mainichi hayaku okimasu. Hayaku is the adverb meaning early, and okimasu means to wake up. Hayaku okimasu means wake up early. We said earlier that adverbs answer the question how of the verb. How do you wake up? Early. Hayaku okimasu. Adverbs are usually put right before the verb or adjective they modify. The sentence, let's walk quickly. In Japanese, that would be, hayaku arukimashou. Hayaku arukimashou. Hayaku means quickly, and arukimashou means let's walk. How do we walk? Quickly. Hayaku arukimashou. The adjective oki means big. The adverb is ookiku, which means to do things in a big way. For example, to say, please write your name big, we say, onamae wo ookiku kaite kudasai. Onamae wo ookiku kaite kudasai. Ookiku means bigly or in a big way, and kaite kudasai means please write. How do you write your name? Big. Ookiku kaite kudasai. Ureshi means happy. The adverb is ureshiku, meaning happily. The sentence, I will always think of you happily or in a happy way. In Japanese, we say, Kimi no koto wo itsumo ureshiku omoimasu. Kimi no koto wo itsumo ureshiku omoimasu. Ureshiku means happily, and omoimasu means will think. Ureshiku omoimasu means will think happily. Always or itsumo is also an adverb. It's one of those words that are pure adverbs, which we will tackle later on. We have some exceptions to conjugating e adjectives, and there are only two of them in the Japanese language. The first is the adjective e, which means good. The adverb for this is yoku and not iku. Yoku means well. It also means often, as an adverb of frequency. The next exception is the adjective kakkoi, which means cool, as in a cool guy. The adverb is kakkoyoku. Kakkoyoku. Let's use yoku as an example in a sentence. The sentence, the weather has improved. In Japanese, we say, tenki ga yoku narimashita. Tenki ga yoku narimashita. The verb narimashita means became, and the adverb yoku means well. Tenki means weather, and ga is the subject particle referring to the weather. Tenki ga yoku narimashita. The weather has improved. Now let's look at na adjectives. As we mentioned earlier, to turn them into adverbs, we simply convert na to ni. Let's look at some examples. The adjective benri na means convenient. Benri ni, the adverb, means conveniently. The adjective jouzu na, which means skillful, becomes jouzu ni, which means skillfully. You encounter this adjective in our lesson on expressing ability. The adjective kantan na, which means simple, becomes kantan ni, which means simply. The adjective shizuka na, which means quiet, becomes the adverb shizuka ni, which means quietly. The sentence, children study quietly. Whether it's true or not, this is just a sentence. In Japanese, we say, kodomo tachi wa shizuka ni benkyou shimasu. Kodomo tachi wa shizuka ni benkyou shimasu. Benkyou shimasu means study or will study, and shizuka ni means quietly. Shizuka ni benkyou shimasu means will study quietly. The adjective kirei na, which means beautiful or clean, depending on the context, becomes the adverb kirei ni, which means beautifully or cleanly. The sentence, please wash the plates cleanly. In Japanese, we say, sara wo kirei ni aratte kudasai. Sara wo kirei ni aratte kudasai. Sara means plate. Wo is the direct object particle. Kirei ni means cleanly, describing the verb aratte kudasai, which means please wash. Sara wo kirei ni aratte kudasai. Please wash the plates cleanly. At this point, I'd like to introduce two very useful verbs that you can readily pair with adverbs. The first is the verb suru, which means to do. When you pair it with an adverb, it means to make something into that adverb. And the second verb is naru, which means to become. When paired with an adverb, it means something becomes something like that adverb. Let's look at some examples. Takai means expensive, and the adverb takaku means expensively. Takaku suru means to make something expensive. For example, maybe I'll jack up the price or tack on sales tax or service fees. Takaku naru means something becomes expensive, perhaps because the price went up or new taxes got added in. Kirei na means beautiful. Its adverb kirei ni means beautifully. Kirei ni suru means I will make something beautiful. Maybe I'll decorate my room. Kirei ni naru means something becomes beautiful because, say, perhaps I decorated my room and now it's beautiful. Another example, osoi means slow. Osoku means slowly. Osoku suru means I will make something go slow, say turn down the setting of my electric fan. Osoku naru means something becomes slow, say the speed of the car because I took my foot off the gas pedal. Another example, kantan na means easy and kantan ni means easily. Kantan ni suru means I will make something easy. Say I'm a teacher and I make the exam easy for my students. Kantan ni naru means that something becomes easy. Say because of a bridge, it's now easy to cross to the other side of the river. Now, let's take a look at words in the Japanese language that are true adverbs. They divide into adverbs of degree, frequency, quantity, and probability. Adverbs of degree mostly describe adjectives, the degree of how something is. Totemo means very, as in totemo atsui, which means very hot. Taihen also means very. Taihen samui means very cold. You've encountered totemo and taihen in the previous lesson on likes and dislikes. Chotto means a little bit. Chotto atatakai means a little bit warm, say referring to the weather. You can also hear Japanese people say chotto while gritting their teeth or sucking saliva as a subtle sign of displeasure or when they mean to say no or refuse a request. These adverbs of degree, amari, which means not very or not very often, and zenzen, which means completely, can describe both adjectives and verbs. However, they have to pair up with their negative conjugations. You've encountered these adverbs in our previous lesson on likes and dislikes. To use amari nai for adjectives, we have the example, amari atsuku nai desu. Amari atsuku nai desu, which means it's not very hot. Atsuku nai means not hot, which is the negative conjugation of atsui. When paired with amari, it means not very hot. On the other hand, zenzen atsuku nai desu. Zenzen atsuku nai desu means it's not hot at all or it's completely not hot. Amari tabemasen. Amari tabemasen means I don't eat much. Tabemasen means will not eat, and it's the negative conjugation of the verb tabemasu, which means will eat. Amari tabemasen means I don't eat much. On the other hand, zenzen tabemasen. Zenzen tabemasen means I don't eat at all. Adverbs of frequency describe how often an adjective or a verb happens. The adverb itsumo, which means always, can be used for both adjectives and verbs. For example, itsumo atsui desu. Itsumo atsui desu means it's always hot. Say, for example, to describe a room without air conditioning or a tropical country. Itsumo asobimasu. Itsumo asobimasu means I always play. Asobimasu means will play. The adverb yoku as an adverb of frequency means often. Yoku asobimasu. Yoku asobimasu means I often play. Yoku cannot be used for adjectives. Tokidoki means sometimes. To say I sometimes drink beer, in Japanese that is biiru wo tokidoki nomimasu. Biiru wo tokidoki nomimasu. Similar to tokidoki, we have the adverb tamani, which means occasionally. To say I occasionally drink beer, in Japanese that would be biiru wo tamani nomimasu. Biiru wo tamani nomimasu. Now, to express an even lower frequency of an action, you can use mettani or hotondo, which mean rarely or hardly. These adverbs have to be paired with the negative conjugation of the verb. For example, to say, I rarely watch movies, In Japanese, that is, 映画はめったに見ません。映画はめったに見ません。映画 means movies, and 見ません means will not watch. 映画をめったに見ません。I rarely watch movies. To say the same thing using ほとんど, you say 映画はほとんど見ません。映画はほとんど見ません。I hardly watch movies. ほとんど means almost all or nearly all. Unlike めったに何々ない, ほとんど can be used alone in the affirmative, as we will see in the next slide. When used in the affirmative, ほとんど means nearly all. For example, the sentence, nearly all the students came. 生徒たちはほとんど来ました。生徒たちはほとんど来ました。Now to say completely 0% frequency, we can use the adverb 決して何々ない。決して always pairs with a negative conjugation and can be used for both adjectives and verbs. Our example with an adjective, このサンドイッチは決して美味しくないです。このサンドイッチは決して美味しくないです。It means that this sandwich is totally not delicious. Our example with a verb, あなたのことは決して忘れません。あなたのことは決して忘れません。It means I will never forget you. To say plenty, we use the adverb たくさん. For example, I ate a lot of rice balls. In Japanese, that would be おにぎりをたくさん食べました。おにぎりをたくさん食べました。And to say a few or a little, we use the adverb 少し. I ate a little. In Japanese, that's 少し食べました。少し食べました。For adverbs of probability, we have きっと, which means for sure, surely, certainly. For example, きっと食べました。きっと食べました。It means he, she, they ate for sure. Another adverb having the same meaning is 必ず. The sentence 必ず食べてください。必ず食べてください。It means be sure to eat or please eat without fail. The adverb 多分 means probably, and here we're talking about a 50-50 chance. It's usually paired with でしょう。多分食べるでしょう。多分食べるでしょう。It means he, she, they will probably eat. The last class of adverbs we tackled today are the onomatopoeia. In Japanese, we call them onomatope, obviously derived from the English and written in katakana. Onomatope are adverbs that mimic sounds or describe feelings. They take the particle to, whose function is to denote quotation. So these onomatope are almost like quotes. Repetitive onomatope do not need to use the particle to. They're written in hiragana, written in katakana for emphasis, especially in manga or comic books, and rarely written in kanji. It is said that they are linguistically similar to Malayo-Polynesian languages. The onomatope are a large class of words in the Japanese language. Let's look at some common examples. Yukkuri means slowly or leisurely. Yukkuri to 話してください。ゆっくりと話してください。It means please speak slowly. Dandan. Dandan means gradually. 彼はだんだん元気になった。彼はだんだん元気になった。He gradually got well. 元気に is in fact an adverb derived from 元気な, a na adjective that means healthy. So 元気になった means healthily became. だんだん元気になった gradually healthily became, or he gradually got well. Tokidoki means poundingly. Kare wo mitara, when I see him, mune ga dokidoki suru, my chest or heart pounds. When I see him, my heart pounds. Kare wo mitara, mune ga dokidoki suru. Kare wo mitara, mune ga dokidoki suru. Pera-pera means fluently. Kanojo wa eigo wo pera-pera hanaseru. Kanojo wa eigo wo pera-pera hanaseru. She can speak English fluently. Koso-koso means secretly. Kaigi wo koso-koso deta. Kaigi wo koso-koso deta. It means I snuck out of the meeting. Pari-pari means crunchy. Tempura ga pari-pari taberareru. Tempura ga pari-pari taberareru. It means the tempura can be eaten crunchily. There are also a lot of onomatopoeia that mimic animal sounds, and one of the most common is wan-wan, which is the barking sound of a dog. Inu ga wan-wan hoeta. Inu ga wan-wan hoeta. It means the dog barked bow wow. The meow of a cat in Japanese is nya. Nya. So the sentence, koneko ga nya to naita. Koneko ga nya to naita. The kitten cried meow. Now, there are more adverbs and onomatopoeia than this lesson showed you today. Below is a link on Japanese adjectives, which, if you master, also gives you an equivalent number of vocabulary on adverbs. I also included a separate link that shares with you more than 70 commonly used onomatopoeia. So please check those links out. Adding the verb suru, which means to do, to an onomatopoeia is very useful. For example, to describe an old car, one can say, kuruma ga gata-gata suru. Kuruma ga gata-gata suru, meaning that the car rattles. The sentence, atama ga gan-gan shimashita. Atama ga gan-gan shimashita. It means my head buzzed, to describe a strong headache or a serious problem. Daya ga kira-kira shimashita. Daya ga kira-kira shimashita. Kira-kira means to sparkle. So daya ga kira-kira shimashita means the diamond sparkled. To recap, in this lesson you learned how to convert adjectives into adverbs. We convert the hiragana e ending of e adjectives to ku to convert them into adverbs. As for na adjectives, the hiragana na turns to ni. Combining adverbs with the verb suru lets you make sentences such as I will make it so and so. And combining adverbs with the verb naru lets you make sentences such as it becomes so and so. We also looked at adverbs of degree, frequency, quantity, and probability. And lastly, we touched on adverbs derived from onomatopoeia, which are based on sounds. And this ends our lesson on adverbs. I hope you had a wonderful time, and please don't forget to check the links below on adjectives, adverbs, and onomatopoeia. I look forward to having you join me in the next video. If you're serious about becoming fluent in Japanese, it's important to practice daily, learn grammar, and build up vocabulary. My whole course is designed to give you a strong basic foundation in the Japanese language that you can build solidly on. So please click like, share, or subscribe, and watch the next video in the series. 日本語の勉強に頑張ってください。じゃあまたね。